twice now. I've had enough. Good luck, everybody. Okay.
Frustration inside of Riverside High School in North Spokane County tonight, with many finding little help after losing their homes in the Oregon Road fire nearly 3 weeks ago. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor. The fire burning more than 120 homes near Elk. Tonight's meeting focused on tree removal. New on Nightside, Allison Martinez spoke with one woman who is trying to rebuild both the place she called home and her mother's.
As families affected by the Oregon Road fire grieve their lost homes, it is difficult to know how to move forward. The Department of Natural Resources in the Spokane Conservation District offered a helping hand with a post-fire assistance meeting at Riverside High School.
When you leave with nothing, you have nothing.
It was a packed room at Riverside High School Thursday. Multiple organizations, including the Department of Natural Resources, offering their help on assessing and rebuilding land destroyed by the Oregon Road fire. Maria Salcedo attended looking for any answers, not only for herself, but her 93-year-old mother.
But it's emotional. My mother, she's just, with dementia, she doesn't understand. And where we're at, she's afraid to leave because she's afraid that's going to catch on fire.
Maria says community resources like this meeting have been making all the difference.
And different people helping us, and then, that's how we're surviving right now. It's basically that way.
If you missed Thursday's meeting, you can contact DNR or Spokane Conservation District for post-fire assistance services.
We can actually be on the ground with the landowners and walk their forest with them and give them concrete answers to their questions, but also give them a path forward based on what their goals are for their property.
Another forestry meeting will be held next Wednesday in Medical Lake starting at 6:30.
It's just a hope that we have that we can rebuild and start afresh and start new memories.
Of course, the road to recovery is long for this community. For any more information on any resources shared today, you can visit our website, kxly.com. Reporting in Spokane, Allison Martinez, 4 News Now.
And for anyone still looking for ways to help people in Elk or Medical Lake and the areas that were impacted by wildfires last month, Our Place Community Outreach near Kendall Yards is asking for specific donations. You can see them right there on your screen. The need is for those who still don't have access to full-service kitchens. Our Place is looking for Pop-Top soups, Pop-Top tuna cans, tuna cracker packs, protein bars, bottled drinks, peanut butter, cup of noodles, beef jerky, and breakfast bars. Clothing and household items are not being accepted right now because they are already inundated with those types of donations. Well, this is the view for many drivers headed into downtown Spokane. Trash, homelessness, and crime flooding the downtown corridor along 2nd and Division. That's where a man was shot less than 24 hours ago. Tonight, an overhaul on police presence along those blocks. Spokane police ramping up their presence, hoping to cut down on the growing violent crime in that area. Police are expanding their resources and they're reallocating more officers to patrol the surrounding blocks. Police are also up against a staffing shortage and a jail nearing full capacity. So just because they make an arrest doesn't mean that person is taken off the streets.
Well, there's a lot of things that we can arrest for, and we're really kind of creating a zero tolerance down in that area. But there's things that we can't arrest and physically take them to jail for, unfortunately, just because we don't have that jail capacity. And so, we can maybe make an arrest, a physical arrest, and write a ticket, but it doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily leave the area or for an extended period of time.
That captain with Spokane Police tells us this small area has absorbed a ton of police resources. For last night's incidents alone, there were 10 police units on scene. For more information on how police are cracking down and which businesses and what they're doing to help reduce crime, look for this story on KXLY.com. One of the reasons officials say is one of the reasons for crime in downtown is the opioid epidemic. And according to the CDC, the number of overdose deaths in the state of Washington is rising faster than any other state, in large part because of the growing fentanyl crisis. Spokane leaders came together yesterday saying they hope to address the problem through widespread education and awareness.
Seizing thousands of fentanyl pills from our community. But what I want to see is the end to the tragic deaths. And that really starts with educating kids right at home and in schools.
one key tool in preventing overdose deaths, is now available over the counter. Dr. Scott Hadlin says Narcan can be a new avenue for families of young adults struggling with addiction.
We are actually at a point in the crisis where each week the equivalent to a high school classroom of teenagers dies from overdoses. And most of those overdoses are actually happening in people's homes. So there's the potential for a parent or other loved one to be able to respond.
At a suggested price of $45 for 2 doses of Narcan, some advocates worry the price point is too high. The company is lowering the cost for community groups, first responders, as well as state and local governments. While advocates say it's not a solution to the opioid epidemic, they are hopeful it's a big step in the right direction. Just after 11 now, and as you predicted, Chris, we're starting to see those thunderstorms.
Yes, and most of them are well south of the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area, but there's still the potential that you may hear a rumble of thunder yet tonight. Let's take a look at our Doppler radar right now, and we're watching that band of showers that extends from the Blue Mountains up through the Palouse and into the central Panhandle. We have had some isolated thunderstorm activity along that line, as well as occasional heavier downpours. Right now we're seeing some of that wet weather around Garfield, down toward Pullman and Pomeroy. Then things taper off a little bit around St. Mary's before they pick up again around Kellogg. I want to show you the traffic camera in Moscow right now, and the streets are wet and there's some ponding on the roadways as well. So they've had some pretty good rain here in the last hour or so. Here is our forecast radar as we go through the overnight. That focus of precipitation is going to stay just south and east of Spokane. Little bit better chance you'll get some light rain in Coeur d'Alene, or at least you may hear a rumble of thunder. Here's 2 a.m. with most of the wet weather moving into the central Panhandle. And then by tomorrow morning, we are dry across the region, and we're going to start to see a fair amount of sunshine. Here's a look at your Friday planner. It's the first day of the fair. Great start to the fair. Air quality in the good range. Will be in the 50s to start the day, heading up to a high of 78, which is almost exactly average. Great way to start the weekend. I'll let you know if this weather is going to hold through Saturday and Sunday in your 7-day forecast. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. A Spokane City Councilwoman is now defending nonprofit Jules Helping Hands. That organization is best known for running Camp Hope up until it was cleared out this summer. A conservative blogger recently questioned whether an out-of-state trip made by members of the nonprofit was paid for by money received through the American Rescue Plan. Councilwoman Betsy Wilkerson responded to the allegations, saying a $5 million grant was spread out strategically amongst 82 qualified nonprofits, including Jules Helping Hands. Wilkerson said the proper documentation was submitted, the application was fully vetted, and Jules Helping Hands received over $57,000 for lost revenue and rental reimbursements. You can read more of the allegations and Wilkerson's full response. Plus, you can find a link to all the organizations that received that funding. It's a top story on KXLY.com. Still ahead, a summer camp devastated by wildfire. More of the damage left behind at Silver Lake by the Gray Fire. Next on Nightside.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by Foothills Mazda.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team at Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on the next task. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXLY.com to nominate it. 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
Pop the champagne, humanity. We've done it.
Celebrate your night with big winners, shocking thrills, and living legends.
You know, I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
This Saturday, the Cougs are doing something they haven't done in a long time.
Washington State plays in the primetime on ABC for the first time in nearly 2 decades, and we've got you covered.
Watch our half-hour special Friday at 6:30 on 4 News Now.
Hepatitis C, don't just treat it, crush it with Maverick.
Conquer it with Maverick.
Cure it with Maverick. Maverick cures all types of Hep C.
In only 8 weeks.
The virus multiplies daily and can damage the liver over time. Maverick stops Hep C and cures it. If you've had hepatitis B, it may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had Hep B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV, other medical conditions, and all your medicines. Do not take Mavyret with atazanavir or rifampin. Report right away yellow skin, stomach pain or swelling, confusion and bleeding or bruising.
Hep C, crush it with Mavyret.
Conquer it with Mavyret.
Cure it in only 8 weeks. See Hep C gone with Mavyret.
Ask your doctor about Mavyret. AbbVie could help you save.
Backyard barbecues, family gatherings, now is the best time to visit Jacobs Custom Living. New furniture has arrived and Jacobs really has the largest and most varied inventory ever. Comfortable lounge furniture, elegant outdoor dinner sets, umbrellas, and much more. Hurry in and experience for yourself the high-quality outdoor furniture at Jacobs Custom Living that will make your deck, patio, or cabin a wonderful place for gatherings all summer long. On Sprague, just east of Sullivan.
Beat the heat. Always water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m.
New on Nightside, what you're looking at is some drone footage of the Grant County Sheriff's Office arresting 57-year-old Russell Fenwick. Police say he was involved in a crash on I-90 near Moses Lake. He then allegedly abandoned his car on the shoulder and hid in that cornfield. Deputies eventually tracked him down and, as you see, arrested him. Also new tonight, Apple is urging iPhone and iPad owners to update their devices. The company says it's going to fix a vulnerability that hackers may have already been exploiting. Experts say iPhone and iPad owners should immediately go to the settings menu on your device. From there, select General, then Software Update. Tap Install Now to begin the process. Cave researcher Mark Dickey is thanking Turkish rescue crews for rappelling several thousand feet below ground to save him after suffering from stomach bleeding since Saturday.
The caving world is a really tight-knit group, and it is amazing to see how many people have responded on the surface.
The Turkish Caving Federation assisting in the rescue among more than 100 other rescuers of elite teams rappelling into the cave to deliver supplies and 6 pints of blood. Dickey is now stable, but he is still deep within the cave. Mark's friend and rescue expert describing the dangerous conditions crews face to journey up and out of the cave.
It involves crawling through squeezes, turning your body sideways. Then there's water passages. It's muddy, it's wet, it's cold, and there's nothing soft around. Everything is hard rock. It's exhausting.
The Federation says it will take days to get him out on a stretcher because of the narrow, winding passages. For reference, it would take an experienced caver a full 15 hours to reach the surface in ideal conditions. And he was in the cave because he was a part of an expedition to map one of Turkey's deepest caves. A Silver Lake campsite that hosts summer camps and retreats is now rebuilding after 5 cabins were destroyed in the Gray Fire last month. The Silver Lake Bible Camp on South Lakehurst Drive is now working to recover and be ready for summer camp next year. Driving by now burned places with memories, Silver Lake Bible Camp Executive Director Terry Andrews says the Gray Fire destroyed 5 cabins, 5 homes, and equipment. For decades, thousands of kids and families visited there every year.
I believe in camp because I know the difference it makes in kids' lives. I was a youth pastor before this for almost 20 years. I brought kids to camp, and now I get to run a camp that is changing and affecting lives.
Now rebuilding step by step. Andrews says the camp is there to support the Medical Lake community. The next plan is allowing wildfire victims to stay in its RV areas.
Here are 4 things to know about your weather. The showers will be coming to an end overnight for a dry Friday morning and then a warm sunny day on Friday. Seasonable though, temperatures about average. A beautiful weekend, and we're going to be a little warmer than average. Here's a look at our radar once again, and we are finding those showers from down around Pomeroy up through the Palouse and heading into the central panhandle. Haven't had any cloud to ground lightning strikes showing up here on our Doppler radar and lightning tracker in the last 15 minutes or so, but there have definitely been some rumbles of thunder tonight along that line, and do not be surprised if you hear those yet tonight before we dry out later this evening. We're tracking the pattern, an area of low pressure moving over the region. By tomorrow, that will be gone. Here's Friday at 6 o'clock and the beginning of a ridge of high pressure that will continue to build over the weekend. That's going to bring warm, sunny weather for Saturday, Sunday, and right on into the beginning of next work week. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the 70s and 80s around the region. 78 in Spokane, 77 in Coeur d'Alene. Will be in the 80s in Omak, Grand Coulee, Moses Lake, and 87 in Lewiston. A lot more 80s on the map as the weekend goes on. We'll be 81 and sunny on Saturday and 83 on Sunday. Staying in the 80s Monday and then cooling back down closer to our average high as we get into next week. Overnight lows through the 7-day forecast in the 50s. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. Well, the mornings are cooler. The leaves are just beginning to change as we head into fall. It's a stark contrast, though, to just a couple weeks ago when summer was blazing in all its glory. Matt, the numbers are in. We have just experienced the hottest summer ever.
Yeah, all across the world, things have been a little toasty. And yeah, in the inland Northwest, we ended up missing most of that super hot weather this year, but you saw a lot of headlines about extreme weather in other places. In fact, some places not that far away. It has been a long and cruel summer, and this doesn't even count all those 110-plus days in Phoenix on the map here. On your screens, some of those temperature records that were set in the past 3 months. Even south of the equator, which, by the way, where it is winter, temperatures in many places were pacing and went even beyond summertime records in places like Chile, Argentina. So to get a sense of a whole picture, here's the data from the Copernicus Climate Change Service in Europe. Taking every temperature reading they can get their hands on, getting one massive average, you end up with this chart. This August is the second warmest month on record, and it's by a big margin. And this past July was even more extreme. And so it doesn't take a genius to see that when 2 out of your 3 summer months are record breakers, summer as a whole is going to be record setting as well. This is probably about the clearest sign yet. The climate of our planet is changing at a pretty rapid pace. Look at how much this summer is sticking out of the edge of this chart compared to the average between 1980 and 2010. And look how the average changes, or rather when it changes when we replace the 2010s with the 1980s. Yeah, it's a big deal. But this overall trend of greenhouse gases warming up the planet, it doesn't totally explain why this summer in particular was #1. For that, we've got another chart. El Nino years, they're usually pretty warm, often the warmest year of their decade. You can see 2015, you can see 1998. So combine all of it, global warming, natural variability, other climate cycles, and you top it off with some El Nino, and you've got yourself a record-setting summer. Even though we didn't have as much extreme heat around Spokane this year, well, sneakily, it was still the 5th hottest summer on record. Now, we're not going to experience heat like we did in 2021 or 2022 every year, but in the world we live in now, someone, somewhere, certainly will.
The weather's going to be perfect to pack into the car and head to the Spokane County Fair opening tomorrow. Chris mentioned the fair. You can catch all the fun, including the carnival rides, concerts, demo derbies, tons of exhibits, and a lot more all the way through September 17th. And of course, the well-anticipated rodeo is here for just 2 nights this weekend. You don't want to miss that. 4 News Now. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Don't miss Quality Stoves and Spa's Fair Savings Event. Massive once-a-year discounts on everything. Save up to $3,000 off Quality Stoves and Spa's large selection of hot tubs and swim spas. Hurry, sale ends soon at Quality Stoves and Spas, Post Falls.
Global Credit Union got its start right here at Fairchild Air Force Base and now has branches worldwide. We are proud to honor our military members by wearing red on Fridays.
Red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed, and 4 News Now is joining Global by inviting you to wear red on Fridays, too.
Show your support for the men and women of our armed forces. Tell them and their families thank you for their service and for protecting our future.
Stop in any Global branch and pick up a red pin.
And then remember to wear red on Fridays from now until September 11th.
You know, life is dangerous enough without the negligence of others that cause accidents that threaten your physical and financial health. Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. Call my offices here in Spokane. I can help you now. When you call, you'll speak to me, or you'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. I guarantee it. Lloyd Herman and Associates, 922-6600.
Did you see this? It says most people are going to need long-term care that health insurance and Medicare won't cover.
I saw that, and it got me thinking, if I need to pay for home modifications or in-home care, I am not prepared. Are you?
Not really. I mean, whatever happens, I just want to know that I'll be able to get care and stay in my own home as I age.
Right? I want that too. So,
Find out how the WA Cares Fund can help.
Don't miss Quality Stoves and Spa's Fair Savings Event. Massive once-a-year discounts on everything, including Quality Stoves' large selection of fireplaces, inserts, and stoves, featuring Lopi and Fireplace Extraordinaire. Hurry, sale ends soon at Quality Stoves and Spa's Post Falls.
4 News Now is brought to you by Noodle Express.
Five Spokane police officers graduated from Washington's Basic Law Enforcement Academy today. 30 other officers from agencies across eastern Washington also completed the rigorous program. Spokane Police says because the department is so understaffed, every new officer makes a difference.
Our high temperature today, 77 degrees. 77 is exactly average. We also started off the day right about average. Sunset these days, 7:19. Here is our temperature trend over the next 7 days. This black line is our average high, which is dropping to 75 by this time next week. And we're going to be right about average through the 7-day forecast. Sunday at 83. That's starting to get a bit above average, but our average high drops very quickly in September. Starts off the month at 79, drops to 75 on the 15th, and then really plummets into the 60s as we get into the end of the month. But that drop picks up speed in October. That's our month of greatest change, which we'll talk about as we get closer to October. But right now, I want to tell you about above average temperatures in the 8 to 14 day outlook, September 15th through the 21st. So if our average high is in the mid 70s, we're talking upper 70s and possibly some more 80s with below average precipitation. It's a very dry time of year, so we are not going to be missing out on much if we're running a little below average precipitation wise. An absolutely gorgeous sunrise tonight from a unique perspective. This is from Greg Young, and this is the sunrise over Mount Spokane. And this white that you see in the foreground is the mist over the Little Spokane River, starting to look a little fall-like with that mist showing up. And just a spectacular view there from Greg's place just west of Chattaroy.
We've had some gorgeous sunsets, but that's the first sunrise I've seen all week, and it's because I don't wake up early.
You know, I do not see very many sunrises unless people send them in for the pick of the night, so I do appreciate it. See what we're missing?
I know. Thanks, Greg. Yeah. Well, a decades-old plan to build a new community in Northeast Spokane can finally move forward. Last month, the city of Spokane approved water to be pumped up to this 230-acre vacant lot called Beacon Hill. The developers say they don't just want to build homes there, they are trying to build a community.
This will be a community of golf cart paths, a master plan that includes taking your golf cart all the way down to Esmeralda. Mountain bikers being still a safe place for them to come on the mountain amongst the development. And, community gardens and we even thought of, sunrise, sunset yoga areas. So.
With the newest water permit, a tank can now be built near the top of the hill. And once that's complete, the city can expect to see home development. The goal is to have people moving in by next fall. New on Nightside, an actor best known for his role in That 70s Show will spend the next 30 years in prison for rape. CNN's Emily Schmidt explains.
I'm 22.
Danny Masterson made a name for himself in comedy, playing Stephen Hyde in 8 seasons on That 70s Show.
Thursday, he made much more serious headlines.
It's quite a morning.
Masterson received the maximum sentence of 30 years to life for convictions of raping 2 women. It came after a winding legal road. First, a mistrial due to a deadlocked jury. Then earlier this year, a second jury found him guilty of raping 2 women at his home in separate incidents between 2001 and 2003. They deadlocked on a third woman's rape allegations.
I'm very happy for the victims because this was a day that they had been looking forward to, and they got their justice. It's a long time coming.
Obviously, we are very disappointed in the sentence the judge handed down today.
Masterson has pleaded not guilty to the rapes. His legal team says they will appeal his convictions.
Mr. Masterson did not commit the crimes for which he has been convicted.
A lawyer representing 2 of Masterson's accusers issued a statement saying the accusers are not stopping there. They are eager to soon tell the fuller story of how Scientology and its enablers tried desperately to keep them from coming forward. All 3 women met Masterson through the Church of Scientology. The church re-released a statement it made following Masterson's May conviction, saying there is not a scintilla of evidence supporting the scandalous allegations that the church harassed the accusers. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
The Washington State Cougars are almost set for one of the more anticipated home games in years. Coming up in sports, our sports team has more on what the Cougs need to do to help secure a victory on Saturday.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Will you marry me?
Yeah. I can't stop smiling.
I can't wait to love you for the rest of my life.
If you like pina colada.
True love and marriage, it starts here.
I'm the love that you've looked for.
I can't stop myself from falling.
Come with me and let's skate.
Really falling in love with you.
I'm falling for you too.
If you like pina colada.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses? See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
At Horizon Credit Union, we believe your dreams and the path that fulfills them are what makes life special. It's about the freedom to spend time making memories. It's the convenience of easy banking, so you can hit the road with confidence. It's the perfect little moments you cherish forever. No matter where you are, we can help you get there. Come see us today in branch, online, or anywhere on your path.
Discover the 2023 Mazda CX-5 with standard iActive all-wheel drive and a powerful available turbo engine. It's a CUV that truly ignites the senses.
The talk of the town all-wheel drive Mazda CX-5 is in stock now at Foothills Mazda. Take yours home today or shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Schedule your comprehensive eye exam at Shopko.com or bring in your outside prescription.
Washington State football is getting ready for the biggest game of the season. The Cougars will take on the Wisconsin Badgers Saturday. It's the first time Washington State will host a non-conference Power 5 opponent in 25 years. Sports director Julian Mendensohn joins us from Pullman to tell us more about the primetime showdown between the Cougars and the Badgers.
I'm standing in front of Martin Stadium, the site for Saturday's big-time matchup between Washington State and number 19 Wisconsin. The Cougars are going to have a sellout crowd behind them on Saturday, but as Alex Crescenti shows us in this week's Chalk Talk, they're going to need another area to get going on the field if they want to end the game with a victory.
Well, thank you, Julian. We know when Wisconsin steps out on that field Saturday evening, they'll want to establish the run. That's nothing new. They've done it for decades. But one of the keys for Washington State will be to also get the run game going. And given the performance they had on the ground last week, it could be the difference between a win and a loss. Last weekend in Fort Collins, the Washington State offense showed what they're capable of, putting up 556 yards throughout the game. But a closer look shows 466 of those came through the air, which means only 90 were on the ground, 40 of which came on the legs of Cam Ward. So not exactly a balanced attack needed throughout the entire season.
I don't want him to be our leading rusher. I really don't ever again.
Now the job gets a whole lot tougher as the Badgers come to town, and the battle in the trenches will be key to getting the ball down the field and scoring. So the name of the game for Jake Dickert and company, be aggressive and finish through the plays.
And Wisconsin is going to be way harder to move, right? So it's creating light boxes, it's finding angles, it's knowing a lot of things that we can do pre-snap to give Cam and get us into the best looks. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that Rolodex, but at the end of the day, it's toughness. We need to be tough. We need to be physical. We need to trust our technique and ultimately finish. Finishing needs to be a habit.
Now, last weekend, Wisconsin gave up 122 rushing yards to Buffalo, so the task certainly isn't impossible, but it's going to be another physical fight that could come down to the final possession. Julian, I'll send it back to you in Pullman.
Kickoff between Washington State and Wisconsin is at 4:30 on Saturday. You can catch the game right here on KXLY. Friday at 6:30, we'll have a half-hour special dedicated to everything about the matchup, on-the-field stories and off-the-field stories. We've got you covered. Reporting in Pullman, Julian Minnesone, 4 News Now Sports.
And there are 3 weeks left in the MLB regular season. The Seattle Mariners are closing in on a playoff spot for the second straight year. In Tampa, they edged out the Rays 1-0 with Mike Ford ripping it right down the middle for a base hit, giving Eugenio Suarez plenty of time to jog on home, and then giving them that 1-0 lead. And it turns out 1 run was all they needed, with neither team scoring the rest of the game. Game 2 of the 4-game series is tomorrow afternoon. 4 News Now. We'll be right back.
Download the 4 News Now app today. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
Since I was 14, I have been addicted to one substance or another. I know that it may seem hard to finally take that first step, but once you do, it's like running down a mountain and everything snowballs, and the Lord works in the best ways, opening doors for you that you never thought possible. Just reach out your hand. Someone will be there to take it.
Who is Culligan? Your local water experts since 1936. The world's most efficient water softener. Safer drinking water in every glass. Convenient, reliable delivery. Industry-leading technology. Here for every water worry.
Some days your body is a temple. And some days the temple wants sugar. You might relieve stress naturally on Monday and plan for it on Tuesday. Because being human isn't always so fries or salad. Sometimes it's both. So relax with essential oils or a glass of Cab. Fall asleep with melatonin and wake up to caffeine. With traditional medicine and alternative remedies, there's no wrong way to treat life at Rite Aid. And now get your flu shot with easy scheduling, fast appointments, plus walk-ins available daily.
When occasional heartburn won't let you sleep, get fast relief with new Tums Plus Heartburn Plus Sleep Support. Love food back and fall asleep faster.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
That's a pretty good looking 7-day forecast. Be nice if we could get some rain tonight, but it looks like it is all staying south of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but some nice rain over the Palouse, and then we're all going to enjoy a sunny, warm weekend.
Yeah, some of us got it. I liked your live shot with Moscow.
Yes.
The streets all nice and gleamy.
Yes.
Have a good one.